Welcome to Sitcom Showdown, a podcast that reviews classic sitcom episodes and inducts them into our very own Hall of Fame. As usual, one of us has chosen a sitcom episode and the other guy has no idea what it's going to be. Will they already know it? Will they love it? Can they be convinced that it's worthy? Let's find out on the Sitcom Showdown.
Welcome back, listeners, to episode 62 of Sitcom Showdown. I'm Steve, and I'm here with Jeff.
Hello.
Hello. We're recording in the deadly Thursday lunchtime slot here. Yeah. Yes, it's you've heard of those time slots where sitcoms go to die. Well, this is the time slot, the recording slot where sitcom nominations go to die. So
it could well be.
We'll see how this goes.
Yeah.
So, Jeff, I've chosen an episode of Arrested Development.
Not many sitcoms come more highly recommended and all that sort of thing. Like, I've never heard anyone say Arrested Development is crap.
No one's ever said a bad word about it.
No, well, not that I've read. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's
so that's a
step
plus.
in the right direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this episode is called Staff Infection.
Okay.
And you'll understand the play on words there as we watch it later on. It's episode 15 of season 1. Let me tell you a bit about Arrested Development, which I've ripped off from the Arrested Development wiki. It's a fantastic resource for lazy people like me.
Ah, cool.
Yep. The series follows family man Michael Bluth as he tries to keep his family and business from collapsing after his father George is sent to prison for embezzling money. As the family adjusts from riches to rags, Michael helps his mother Lucille keep up appearances, sister Lindsay and brother-in-law Tobias with their failed marriage, son George Michael and niece Maybe through adolescence, and brothers Buster and Job adjust to working life. And by way of some further background to season 1, I've added that the siblings are forced to share a display home which has been built by their father's company.
Okay.
And the company continues to be under investigation from the Securities and Exchange Commission.
Oh, the SEC, yes.
And so that's all kind of bubbling away in the background through season 1.
Right.
Does this sound similar at all to Schitt's Creek?
It does.
Are you getting a bit of that vibe to it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Although it sounds, more serious. Bigger family cast for a start.
Well, Dad's in jail, unlike Schitt's Creek, where it was their finance manager or someone like that who was doing the dirty. So, yeah. But definitely some similarities. This was originally on Fox for 3 seasons, 2003 to 2006. And then Netflix picked it up in 2015. For a further season.
Yeah.
So I haven't got that far into it yet, the 4th season, but I'm looking forward to seeing how they deal with that jump in time. Have you ever watched this before?
No, I've never watched Arrested Development before, because it's one of those things is that when the hype train's rolling, you've got to watch this, you've got to watch this.
And then I want to talk to you about it.
Yeah.
And,
it's the sitcom equivalent of, I need someone to help me move.
Okay.
So the short answer is no. No, I haven't watched any.
Well, you probably gathered this comes from the US. Now, famous stars. This is a big cast.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm just going to warn you that I'm rushing through it.
We're pressing the stopwatch at 4 minutes and 30 seconds.
All right, here we go. So Michael Bluth, who's the responsible one, the most normal of the siblings, and also widowed, I should add, is played by Jason Bateman, who first appeared in the sitcom Valerie, which was later renamed The Hogan Family.
Was it really?
So that was around in the mid to late 80s. And since then he's done a number of different movies and sitcoms, including playing George's son in George and Leo, which we described briefly in episode 56.
Judd Hirsch.
Yes, which was our special spotlight on Judd Hirsch. Well done, Jeff.
Thank you.
He has won both an Emmy and a Golden Globe for Arrested Development.
Mm-hmm. And
more recently, he's won both awards for acting and directing in Ozark, which is a thriller.
Right. And was he not Teen Wolf 2, Jason Bateman?
You're not supposed to mention that, though.
Oh, okay, sorry. Yes.
We're trying to build him up.
You're trying to build him up.
I'm trying to build him up.
Okay, yes. Who's next?
Yeah. Okay, next is our very own Portia de Rossi, who plays Michael's twin sister, Lindsay. She's, well, I've got philanthropist, an activist, and a hands-off mother.
That's very diplomatic.
Whatever she turns her hand to, she's not particularly good at or effective at.
I see.
As you'll see. So Portia came to most people's attention in a show called Ally McBeal.
Yes.
Which was one of those hype-train shows from
everyone knows Ally McBeal.
Yeah. There's loads of people in that. Will Arnett, you may have heard of him. He plays their older brother Job, who is, amongst other things, a magician.
Okay.
Every time there's an opportunity to mention a magician, I'll whip it out. So
okay. Which means
to try and gain your favour.
In real life, he must have some magician-y skills.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, blimey.
He's got plenty of other skills, including his fantastic voice, Jeff.
Oh, Matt Berry style, or?
Yes, I'd say he's up there with Matt Berry.
Oh, cool.
Yep, he plays, one of the things he's voiced is Batman in the Lego movies.
Okay.
And if you've never heard his Batman rap in the second Lego movie, you should definitely go and look this up.
Okay.
It's absolutely hilarious.
But listen up. You're clearly just confused. Gotham dudes are the best. We have deep, manly voices and insanely red packs.
Shall we? Do you know Will? Have you heard of him before? Okay. We'll keep going with the siblings then. The youngest of the four is Buster, played by Tony Hale. He's an academic mother's boy who suffers from several phobias, being inside, being outside. You can imagine this is quite difficult. And animals he's not too fond of, as we'll see in this episode.
He's Sheldon before Sheldon was Sheldon, by the description I've been given.
Yes, there's a bit of Sheldonness to him.
Oh.
Tony went on to be in Veep.
Yes, I've heard of that one, never watched any of it.
No, and he's won a couple of Emmys for his appearance in Veep.
Ooh.
Lindsay is the only married one of the siblings, and she's married to Tobias Funke.
Okay.
Now, Tobias used to be a psychiatrist, but he's now changing gears and he's trying to be an actor.
Uh-huh.
He's dipping his toe in that pond. He's not terribly interested in his wife, if you know what I mean.
Right. Yeah.
He's on a journey.
Yeah, he's on a journey.
Yeah.
And as you're describing these characters to me, I'm getting flavours of other characters, because I always think of Frasier as the sort of psychiatrist who'd love to do a bit of acting.
Oh.
Frasier was always looking for opportunities
to
do that sort of thing. But we won't bring Kelsey Grammer into this.
No, let's not. No. What did we get to? Yes, so Tobias is played by David Cross.
Oh, I know David Cross.
Yes, so he's a comedian and he's done many things.
Yep.
Any you particularly want to mention?
Yep. Oh, if David Cross is the David Cross who used to partner with Bob Odenkirk and it was the Bob and Dave show or whatever. But yeah, no comments. Yes.
He's a bald dude.
Yeah, that's him.
Yep.
Glasses.
Yep.
All the stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, cool.
That's him. Cool. Let's go through the children of this generation we're talking about.
Blimey.
Yeah, I know. The list goes on. Neil knows.
It's like a lower low.
Yeah. I'm going to let that go. First, Michael's son, George Michael.
Yeah.
Which always gives me a laugh. It makes sense because there's George Sr.
Yep.
Then Michael.
Yep.
Is his son.
Yep.
So they put those two together and came up with George Michael. But anyway, it gives me a laugh.
Oh, rightly so.
George Michael. So he begins the series as a student at high school who's working at the family's frozen banana stand.
Okay.
Which we will see in this episode.
Yeah.
He is straight-laced, quiet, awkward, and obedient, and played by Michael Cera. Michael.
Yeah, him.
Yes.
I just call him Michael Cera, but that
Sarah.
doesn't. That on paper that doesn't look right. But yeah.
No. So Michael's been in. Well, he's been in loads of things. Probably best known for film roles like Superbad, Juno, Scott Pilgrim in Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Would that be the biggest one? Maybe. Do you like him?
Yeah, he's all right, yeah.
No, he's all right.
Yeah.
Lindsay and Tobias's daughter, Maybe, is played by Aaliyah Shokit. And I've been watching her recently in Living With Yourself, starring Paul Rudd. Which I've told you about.
That's right, yeah.
I won't give any spoilers away about that, but that's quite a good show.
Yep.
You're with me so far?
Yeah, no, I'm trying to keep it all straight in my head and who's who and what's what.
I should have brought a family
tree diagram. Yeah.
Okay, so we're on to the senior generation. George Bluth Sr., played by Jeffrey Tambor, is the patriarch of the family and a corrupt real estate developer who is arrested in the first episode.
Aha.
Hence the name. Now, Jeffrey played Hank Kingsley in The Larry Sanders Show, and he received 4 Emmy nominations for that performance. Yeah, you familiar with that?
Yeah, totally.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, he lost. He was nominated 4 times, but he didn't win on any of those occasions.
Oh, wow.
Losing out to Michael Richards one year.
Yeah.
David Hyde Pierce for Frasier, which we've just talked about. And his co-star Rip Torn.
Right.
He was ripped off.
Yeah. Ripped off. Yeah.
Ripped off by Rip.
Yeah. He's not quite up there in the sidekick stakes then. But no, I can instantly picture him as soon as you say his name. Yeah. Usually, a tall, lumbering fellow, usually with a moustache. Also lack of hair. And I'm thinking of him from the Larry Sanders Show.
Vibing so much with Arrested Development.
With all these guys.
It's all the baldness.
Yeah, well, it could be. I know him. So that's, the hit rate's going up of all these people I've actually heard of.
Okay, well, Excellent. We're on to the last. Actually, not quite the last, but we're getting there. So George Bluth Sr.'s wife and Michael's mother, Lucille, is played by Jessica Walter. And Lucille is a ruthlessly manipulative, materialistic lady who is hypercritical of every member of her family, as well as perpetually drinking alcohol.
Oh, I don't like that bit. But well, no, I can just tell, right, that she's going to come up with some cracking put-downs for all of these people, and she will be a source of good gags.
Yep. So Jessica's well known for her film roles, which include Play Misty for Me, which was a Clint Eastwood movie, I think. Yeah. Good on you, Jeff. There's a movie called Grand Prix. Yep, that's fairly well known, and a bunch of other movies from around the same era. Okay, so I just wanted to mention a couple of others. An Yong is Lucille's recently adopted Korean son. Now, this is an ongoing joke because he says An Yong to everything people say, which is actually Korean for hello, but they think it's his name.
Right.
So I don't know if that's mistaken identity or what you want to call that, but anyway.
There's a little bit of I Am Groot going on there.
Yes, that's an ongoing thing. And the narrator is voiced by Ron Howard.
Okay.
You know Ron?
Yeah.
Yeah. Film director, producer, previously actor.
Yeah.
Yep, he's well known. Whew. You hanging in there?
Yeah.
Okay. How
Richie Cunningham?
Yeah. All that stuff.
Is it bad that I still think of him mainly as Richie Cunningham?
Oh, I do
and
too.
Not as like a highly successful film maven who's, it probably is a bit wrong. Most recently, director on Solo, the Han Solo story.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Not the most recent ad for
soft drink.
Knock 'em down fast.
Yeah, that's right. To quench big thirst.
Yeah.
So we've got through this massive cast, have we, with him as the narrator? But does he have any other connection to it, or was he hired purely on a voiceover capacity?
No, he is an executive producer on this one.
No, which you probably just mentioned.
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay, right.
No, for the sake of brevity, but yes. Good point.
I was going to say, he doesn't just take narrator jobs willy-nilly like a crazy person.
No, you're right. He's more involved than that. Shall we go and watch it?
I think we should.
All right.
Now the story of a wealthy family who lost everything, and the one son who had no choice but to keep them all together.
Lindsay, how can you just come in here and ask me for a paycheck?
Well, I usually ask Kitty, but she's not around, and you're the only one here I've ever seen before.
How long's this been going on?
Dad hired me out of college.
You quit college?
Yeah, well, I had a job. What was the point?
Well, you have a job now. Since Kitty's gone, you can earn your check by answering the phones.
Michael, it's Friday. Everybody coasts on Friday.
It's actually Saturday.
Finally, I'm out of here. I'll see you Tuesday.
We're back from watching Arrested Development Series 1, Episode 15. Did it have a title again, Steve?
Staph infection.
Staph infection, it did too. Good. So and now it's time for Steve to recount what happened in this highly entertaining episode of Arrested Development.
We've just got to keep our head down and power through, Jeff.
Yeah, that's right.
So the Bluth company is in some financial strain due to a new subdivision taking longer than expected to come to fruition, and no employees have received paychecks. But Michael is trying to inspire everyone to power through for the short term. So because of this situation with the cash flow, Michael has to skip his normal Saturday routine, which involves a bike ride and a bike ride with George Michael. Michael is big into bike riding.
Yep.
Yes.
Every Saturday morning he
Every
goes for a
opportunity.
ride with his...
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you'll see him actually riding his bike in this episode.
Oh, okay.
Don't know if you noticed that, but anyway, we'll keep going. So he's trying to make amends for the loss of father-son time by driving alongside George Michael for a short while on the way to work. So George Michael's riding his bike, Michael's in the car next door to him. Now, note that the vehicle that Michael is driving, is the one vehicle that the family shares, which is a Bluth company vehicle, and it's basically a ute with some stairs on the back. They call it a stair car, and it looks like the kind of thing that you would walk up to a plane
Oh, yeah.
on. Yeah,
Yes.
if you're at the airport. So it's a very, very glamorous car, as you can imagine. Anyway, he gets a phone call, and then we go to the house, the display home where they all live, and we discover that Tobias has also gone to work. He is preparing for the role of frightened inmate number 2.
Yeah.
Yes. He's come up with the idea of visiting jail, and that will help him to... Maybe he's gone down the method acting route or something like that.
It's a lot of effort to go to for a part that'll probably, if it even gets filmed, will get cut and end up on the cutting room.
It's probably going to end up on the floor.
Oh.
Yep. But anyway, he's got this idea in his head that perhaps George Sr. can get him in to the jail for the purposes of research.
Yep.
Yes. So he's headed off to make that happen. Now, Lucille at her place is preparing Anyong to go to work at the family's banana stand.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And it's apparent that her housemaid, Lupe, is not very happy with her. And when Michael arrives, he discovers that, because the phone call that he took in the car came from his mother.
Come around, Michael. There's an emergency.
It's an emergency. He gets around there and he discovers that Lucille has refused to give Lupe the day off.
Yeah.
So that she could attend a family reunion, which is happening in Catalina now.
I assume
for those of us
Catalina
outside the
was...
continental United States.
That's right. You think, Catalina.
Yes. Santa Catalina Island, or just Catalina, is a rocky island off the coast of Southern California. 22 miles long, 8 miles across at its greatest width. Blah, 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 blah. Getting the idea. So
it's part of the
it's
United
not in Mexico
States.
or South America or anything like that. Yeah,
right.
It's nearby.
Or even Europe.
Yes.
No. Right. Okay.
Yes. No. Yes. No.
So it is the sort of thing you could just do a day trip.
Yeah. It's like Rottnest Island.
Over here. Oh, good.
Known for its quokkas rather than its sheep.
Yeah.
Anyway, we've got to put our heads down and get through this.
Power on.
Yep. Okay.
Power through.
So Lupe's family has organised a bus, which is going to take them to the ferry, and they wanted to use Lucille's parking lot, or the parking lot at her, I guess, condo complex, as a staging point. So everyone in the family would arrive there, then they would get on the bus and all go off together. That was the plan anyway. She said no to that. Lucille is calling because she wants to ask Michael when
for money.
Yeah, for some money, essentially. She says, when you get to work, can you find out from Kitty where my paycheck is? Paycheck?
Yeah,
What's that all about? He said he would give her some money to keep up the illusion of wealth.
Yeah.
Nothing. He's got no idea what she's talking about with his paycheck, so that's raising some red flags.
Right.
He does mention that in order to help her keep up the illusion of wealth, he has said that he'll pay for her shopping, but that needs to be done at Quantity Plus.
Yeah, which must be Costco or whatever, big box store.
Something like that.
Quantity Plus.
She's not a fan of this idea. So there's no paycheck in the offing, but he's kind of twigging to the fact that there's something going on here.
Some arrangement has previously existed to which he doesn't know about that involves people in the family getting money. Anyway,
This will soon become clear.
Yeah.
Or clearer. Michael decides that since he's the one that now pays Lupe via Lucille, he's going to give her the day off. And because he's a generous guy, he says that her family can also use the company's parking lot as the gathering point.
Oh, okay. That's a vital bit of info.
Yes, it is. Otherwise, you're going to get confused.
Yeah.
So after a bit of argy-bargy between Michael and Lucille, Michael heads out the door and says, "Enjoy your paycheck. It's going to be the last one you ever get."
Right. Yep.
So he's shutting it down. Buster, who had entered the scene earlier, asks about his own paycheck. So now there's two of them.
The plot thickens.
Yes. Michael exclaims, I've said. And he says, "Look, you're not just getting a paycheck for doing nothing. There's a job waiting for you in the copy room at the company. And if you want the paycheck, you get down there and do some work,
do
buddy."
some bloody work.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to cut forward a bit in time to the Saturday staff meeting, which Michael has called everyone in for. And Lindsay rocks up and interrupts the meeting to ask for her paycheck.
Oh.
Now, I know their normal arrangements are a bit out of whack here, Jeff, but they're expecting to get paid on a Saturday. What's going on here? Is this normal in the US?
It's just a plot convenience that they all get paid on a Saturday. They're asking for it on a Saturday because they should have got it earlier in the week.
Perhaps they should have got it Thursday, Friday.
Yeah.
In the normal working week, but because the money's not flowing through the accounts, it's delayed, hence their request. Yeah, okay. So he calls for the meeting to be put on hold for approximately 3 minutes while he gets to the bottom of this. Lindsay reveals that this arrangement with her paycheck has been put in place since college, which she quit.
Yeah,
she quit college.
But you quit college. Well, of course, I had a job.
Yeah. Kind of.
Talk about circular logic.
Yes, it's brilliant.
And so what, at Michael's, he's now twigging to the fact that everyone in the family is getting a paycheck except him.
Well, we haven't covered Job yet, but he's
that's
still
right.
coming.
Yes, good. Okay.
Anyway, he says, seeing as it's Saturday and the receptionist post is free, I'm going to put you to work. And if you
answer
want
them
paycheck,
phones, Lindsay.
Yeah, start answering those phones.
She can be replacement Kitty.
Yes,
okay.
Exactly. Meanwhile, Buster has decided that he's not cut out to work in the print room, and he requests reassignment. I don't know how long that took, maybe half an hour tops. Talking about hard work, it's Saturday, and George, Michael, and Maybe are at the banana stand. It's down by a pier or a jetty or something like that.
Yeah, or a boardwalk.
A boardwalk. It's got all those features.
Yeah.
She's bored and basically winding him up about his dad not spending any time with him on a Saturday, which is a bit sad. And of course, also a bit ironic because her parents barely even know that she's alive. Her dad, Tobias, is off pursuing his craft, as we know, and he's now in the office of the governor of the jail. And he's presenting a letter of recommendation from his acting coach, Carl Weathers.
Carl Weathers is awesome.
Yeah, so where do we know him from?
Well, I think he's in The Mandalorian, Steve.
Is he? No way.
I believe he is. But yes, no, we know him from, action.
Apollo Creed from...
all that sort of stuff.
Rocky.
Yeah.
And, all that good stuff. Luckily, the governor is a fan of Carl, and just so happens that he's got a script.
This is ridiculous, but very enjoyable.
Ridiculous?
Yeah, the New Warden is the name of this script, and it's clearly a kick-ass action flick where some new warden comes in and starts doing some...
knocks some heads together. Anyway, he wants to get this script to Carl, so the deal is that Tobias will get the script to Carl, and Tobias will get his...
he'll get his
get
time in the prison to...
Yes.
Him and Steve Buscemi.
Yes.
Or Buscemi, as the case may be.
Yeah, so I said that this governor seems a bit shady to me. What do you think?
Mm-hmm.
He basically gets a book out as if you're booking into a hotel.
Yeah. Well, says, it must be one of those things where actors are always wanting to go into prison to research some role.
Yep, so he's just hooked onto that and uses it to his benefit.
Yeah, because they're in California. It's a Californian
probably
prison.
Happening all the time.
It's probably happening all the time. There's actors all over the shop. And hence why he says to David Cross, come over here to wardrobe, and he opens up his wardrobe, which you wouldn't have in his office.
Nice pick up, Jeff.
It's got internal lights in it to make it all look glamorous, and it's a row of prison uniforms that look a bit grubby. And that's for all the actors that come through. He's got them in all sizes.
Yep.
Far out.
It's very good.
It was funny, though.
So Tobias is in luck, and his request to bunk in with his father-in-law is approved. Michael, having concluded his meeting at the office, where he annoyed everyone, visits the construction site where Buster is now hard at work. well, hard at work or hardly working.
Well,
I'm not sure.
Okay, well, my take on that is that he intends to work hard. He's enjoying being there, but he's just completely inept
Yes.
and incompetent. So if he had skills, he'd be getting a lot of work done. He's putting in a lot of effort. There's just not much is getting done.
Yes. Very true. So Michael's having a discussion with the foreman at the site and basically asks the foreman to smooth things over with the guys on the construction team because their pay is late.
Yeah.
Yes. And the foreman says, I'll do what I can, but you better make sure that money comes through. Then Job makes his first appearance in this episode. He rocks up to the construction site riding a Segway. Is that what you call those things?
Oh, blimey.
Now, what could he want, Jeff?
I reckon he might want his mysterious paycheck that all people in the family seem to get.
Yes, he usually gets paid cash under the counter or something like that.
Oh, my goodness.
But if you could make the check out the cash.
That's just as good. And I'm now wondering if that was a company Segway. That's an asset that can be sold.
Yeah,
Hey.
probably is.
Right.
So if he wants his paycheck, he needs to get to work. So now pretty much everyone's hard at work.
Yeah. Now, so can I just pause there briefly?
Sure.
So, in keeping track of the kids, you've got Michael, who's competent, and you've got Tobias, who's a psychiatrist, and he's not actually one of the kids, but he's there with Lindsay. And you've got Buster is the academic.
Yes.
Who's hapless at practical stuff. Now, what does Job do again? He's the magician guy, is he?
Yes.
Did he ever have a real job, or does he just, do stuff?
He turns his hand to different things. And
Okay.
was moderately notable as a magician at some point. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Right. Yeah.
He's got a fairly luxurious lifestyle. So his magician gigs would never have paid for him to be kept in that kind of style.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'd say he's
So these family
obviously
paychecks,
the paycheck has kept him going.
they are significant, I would argue.
Yes.
They're probably pulling in over $100,000 a year or something like that.
Yeah, and this is the way that George Senior exerts some control over the other members of the family, whereas Michael, probably being a fairly obedient person, doesn't need such
Doesn't need to be bribed.
measures.
Yeah, okay, I get you. Oh.
So now we're back at the office, and this is where things start to go pear-shaped. So the staff have finished.
They start to go pear-shaped?
Yeah, well, okay.
Really?
Continue to go pear-shaped. The staff have finished the proposal that Michael had got them working on before he headed out of the office.
Yeah.
And so they're now ready to go and take lunch. And Lindsay, who's reclining behind the reception desk, filing her nails, says that she's going to buy them all lunch.
Yeah.
So they go, okay. And they all head downstairs to go off for this lunch that she's theoretically arranged for them.
Yeah, and so the
But-
terminology that's used, though,
Yes.
is I'll take you all to lunch.
Yes.
Yes.
So they all head downstairs, and being sheep, the employees board the bus which has arrived to pick up Lupe's family.
Yeah. Just assuming it's there for them to take them to lunch.
Of course.
Yeah, so they all get on this vehicle.
Yes.
Yeah. And, yeah, and they get taken off down the ferry.
Yeah.
Or down the port, or down
Yes,
the,
we'll see
whatever
that.
it's called.
See that shortly. Michael arrives back at the office shortly, well, just as the last person's departing, actually. And he discovers that the staff have left. The harsh fluoro lights, which Lindsay was complaining about previously, have been replaced. But he has got the proposal that he wanted, so that's at least something. Lindsay says that his life revolves around work, and he needs it. It's the thing he lives for. And basically says, you need to take some time off, buddy. Life will go on here without you, and everything will be under control. There's no problem. Leaving her in charge.
Oh, crikey. Yep.
So he goes off to spend some time with George Michael, and as he does, he drives past a van containing an investigative team from the SEC who are planning to infiltrate the Bluth company offices
Oh.
as soon as everyone leaves the building. I don't know, they must be watching the door or something like that. Anyway, so they're posing as light installers. They're the ones who have done
Yeah,
the install that Lindsay just requested to change out the harsh fluoros. Still with me?
Yep, I am with you.
Okay, now we're going to go to the prison again, and we'll see George Senior for the first time. He's recently converted to Judaism, and he's now just converted Little Justice, who's one of his fellow inmates.
Right.
He's creating his own flock.
Is this a prison survival mechanism?
just
Like you
keeping
got
with
to
the
join one
sheep
of the
references.
gangs
You
to
got-
survive, or does he think he is a power broker and he's bringing his power broking shady skills from the outside world into the prison to try and kingpin these people into?
No, George seems to do all right in prison.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, this is not going down well with White Power Bill.
Is that his real name?
White, yeah,
Oh my goodness!
White Power Bill.
It is religion of the pipe.
Yeah, he's one
Oh
of
yeah,
the,
if you
so
don't
he's
do
one
what
of
I
the gang
tell you,
bosses.
I'm gonna whack you with a bloody great pipe.
The cleansing power of the pipe. So he knocks Lil over the head with the length of pipe, the pipe we were just talking about.
Oh my goodness!
And then, in a very tense moment, George is struggling to find common ground with Bill. And he's trying to convince him that he absolutely won't teach anyone else about Judaism. Cue the arrival of Tobias. And George says, "What are you doing here?" He says, "I've come to learn from you, Father. Teach me."
The timing couldn't have been any worse.
Yes. Definitely couldn't have been anywhere. So Tobias is completely clueless as to the life and death situation that he just wandered into here.
Yeah. Does he think the whole prison's full of actors? Doesn't he realise the danger he's in? Because
He's off on another planet, this dude.
yeah, and Bluth Senior says, "Oh, I'm scared," because he knows he's about to cop a visit to Pipe Down, and they're like, I keep going to call him David Cross. What's the name of the kiddie?
Tobias.
Tobias, thank you. So Tobias has gone, we've started, have we? All right, I'll just go get my paper and pen.
Yeah, I'm going to
So
start
he's gonna
taking
take
notes.
notes about how to be scared. Oh, my goodness.
I know.
Yeah, no, that was all highly amusing.
Back at the banana stand, Anyong has arrived for work, and maybe he's continuing to wind George Michael up about the situation with his dad. And so she suggests, stop worrying about the nuts having run out, go to the beach and chill out.
He doesn't seem like a chill-out sort of person.
No, he's not so much into the chilling out. So ignoring her, George Michael takes off to have lunch with his dad,
At the office.
who should be at the office, right?
Mm.
Now he passes, as that scene is ending, we see the office employees who have left the bus
Yep.
and are now making their way onto the ferry
Yeah.
to visit the island of
So the bus has
unknowingly
just
visit the
turned
island
up
of
at the ferry port,
Yep.
and they've thought, we've been brought here for a reason. Clearly, we've got to get onto the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And off they go.
They just follow the
pathway.
the path down there. Yeah, they're sheep. Lucille arrives home from Quantity Plus, where she is now obliged to shop, as we've already talked about. There's no one there, and she misses everyone. Either that, or she needs some help unloading her car.
Yeah, that's all it is. She doesn't want to touch her own groceries. She wants other people to unload the groceries for her.
Exactly. Michael gets to the banana stand, and he's told that George Michael has gone to the beach and goes off to find him. Back at the construction site, the narrator tells us that Job has had enough of this manual labour and has decided to take the afternoon off. This is an important point to note. So basically what he does is lies to the chaps working around him, saying that he's gotten paid.
Right.
This is to start a bit of a fracas. So he's essentially trying to stir up the entire team so that they'll go on strike and that he'll have the afternoon off.
Oh, is that why he's doing it?
Yeah.
Well, does he not realise that if this goes south, he's not getting any more paychecks? Well, he knows he's not getting any more paychecks anyway, so it does. His motivations are stupid, if there's any at all. Anyway, sorry, please continue.
Yes.
Right.
It is somewhat nonsensical. I'll concede that. Buster, however, stands up against him and gets called chicken for his trouble. They're about to fight, and the foreman intervenes, saying that on site they settle things their own way. When someone calls someone chicken, we settle it with a game we like to call chicken.
Oh,
So
my goodness.
basically they've got a couple of graders,
Yeah.
bulldozers I guess you might call them.
Yeah. All those things.
Yep, facing off against each other.
Big machinery.
So
Yeah.
the two guys are about to go to battle, playing chicken with these graders. And they start off very slowly. Like in about 15 minutes, they'll actually reach each other on the opposite side of the site. Back in the office, George Michael has arrived. Lindsay is in a panic. She's over her head, and she's wanting to leave so she can go to site and get work started again, because she's obviously had a phone call
Yeah.
from the site to say everything's stopped and
Oh, we're out of here.
this business is going on.
Oh,
Well, they've
Yeah.
all stopped to watch
it's
the
tools down. Yeah.
to watch
the
game
chicken
of
match, which is taking an awfully
Chicken
long
match.
time. Yeah, chicken match.
The chicken fight.
Yeah. Right, okay, so
we need
someone's
support.
diligently rung the office and told them what's going on. Okay,
Yeah,
now
so
I
there is
understand.
at least one responsible person there, but we don't get to see them. Anyway, so she's getting in the car to go do this, and she sees Lupe's family and gets an idea.
Yes?
Yeah, which we'll come back to in a minute. Now, talking about ideas, Michael has solved the problem of the zoning restrictions on these houses that they're trying to plan in their new subdivision.
While he's down at the beach.
Yeah, playing sandcastles at the beach with the kids. He's basically got these kids building sandcastles in the layout of this
Yeah.
subdivision that he's planning, and he's ordering them around and telling them to put their head down and just power through it.
Yeah.
All
And
this
finish
sort
off Unit B and all these sorts of things.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, did we skip over why he's at the beach in the first place? Which is basically, Lindsay had said, listen, dude, you need to relax.
Yep, we covered
Life's
that.
not all about this. And
Then
then,
he
yes,
visited
he
the
says,
banana
right,
stand.
yep. And then they told him, your kiddie's at the beach.
Yep.
Go and find him. So he didn't find George Michael down there, but he's got distracted and decided to build some sandcastles with other kiddies.
Yes, because maybe told George Michael to go to the beach,
Yeah.
but he ignored her wisely,
Mm-hmm.
went to find Dad instead. But
Yeah.
when Michael arrives, maybe tells
That he's gone.
Michael
yeah.
that George Michael is at the beach.
Yes.
Woo.
Good.
Okay, so everything
Yeah, yeah.
makes...
It does.
It does make sense, but you go quickly by
If
it.
you happen to
in
look
the
away
episode.
for a moment, you'll miss important details and then wonder why people are doing what they're doing.
Yes, I've watched this about half a dozen times and I'm still noticing the details.
Ah.
Yep. So he sees the solution when the tide comes up and washes the sandcastle away. And he has also had a call from George Michael, who's told him about the work stopping on site.
Yes.
George
Because he's looking after the office.
Yes.
George Michael
is
got
sitting...
told by Lindsay, I'm off to sort out these bludging workers at the site who are sitting around watching a game of chicken and refusing to work. I'm going to sort them right out. And you, young man, stay here and
15-year-old.
look after the... Yes. All right,
Yeah, so
everybody's
George-
up to speed.
George Michael is in the office.
Yeah, running the
Running the
whole
business.
empire. Which, from the banana stand to the head of the Bluth company.
Yeah. His stock's rising quickly. So he's sitting at his dad's desk and he finds the evidence that his dad does love him. So he's gone into the filing
Cabinet.
cabinet and he's found a file which his dad has kept full of his school projects or something like that.
And drawings and things.
The inept DEC investigators, thinking that the office is empty, rush in and then promptly rush back out again when they see George Michael. But one of them does bravely rush in to take the evidence file that George Michael is holding, which is full of his school
Scribblings.
projects that Dad has kept over the years. At the anticlimactic conclusion of Chicken, Job talks the guys into going back to work. And just then Lindsay arrives, driving the Bluth company's stair car, which has got Lupe's family on top. And she threatens, this is her brilliant solution, right? I'm going to threaten to sack the men
All the
who are working,
workers.
Yep, on site, because she's got some Mexican labourers,
Yeah.
which
Which
aren't
is,
Mexican labourers at all.
no.
Lupe's family.
They're Lupe's family. They're like little children. And
There are little
well-dressed
children
men who turn out to be university professors and people who haven't spent a day on a building site in their lives.
We skipped over the fact that as she drives Lupe's family into the site, and some of them are standing on top of
The staircase at the
car.
top of this track, yeah.
they go under this sign, and one of them gets knocked on the head and
Did you see what was on the
falls
sign,
unconscious.
Steve?
No.
No, this is in my great
Keep
gag
safe or
pile.
something.
It says drive safely on this sign, and they're like, she's hooning through this thing, and then whack, someone gets knocked out by this side as she drives through the drive safely sign. That was the only gag I wrote down.
Things are coming to a head. Michael has arrived on the site on a bike, and he announces that he's got the solution. We need to get rid of the individual swimming pools and have one communal swimming pool.
A big, enormous, cool one.
Yeah, which will allow us to cram more houses on, right?
Yeah, he solved the
'Cause there's
problem.
Less space in between. Well done, Michael.
Yeah.
And he says we should celebrate when we get a chance. Lucille finds them. She's arrived on the site. And, of course, her car boot is still full of provisions from Quantity Plus.
Which, because she's an alcoholic, most of it's booze.
Yeah. Turns out to be a boot full of liquor.
Yeah.
Um,
And no, when she turns up, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And she doesn't turn up because she cares about any of this business.
No, she just
stuff or
wants her
what's
car
happening.
unloaded
She just
by
goes,
someone.
listen, some of you scumbags, please unload all my groceries. I'm not touching it. And then they go, ooh, booze.
Yep. She wouldn't say no to some Mexican labourers
Unloading a boot.
Yeah.
No.
Anyway, they've got their liquor to have a party. So that's turned out all right. And George, Michael, and Michael get to have a chat and know that each other cares for the other one
Oh.
and all that sort of stuff. George Michael drops mention of the feds at the end of that conversation,
Yes.
which probably spoils it a bit for Michael. Yes, and then we just get to that's the end of the episode, but we end with the typical next time bit, which generally doesn't include things that happen in the next episode, but
does it not?
just pay off some jokes that have been kind of lined up through the episode you've just watched. So in this case, it's announced that Tobias is going to be... So they're in the cell.
Yeah, George Sr. and Bill.
Yeah, White Power Bill, George Sr. and Tobias, and they announced to Tobias that he's going to be sleeping under White Power Bill, and he thinks this is fine because it's the bunk that they're talking about.
Yeah, but it's not.
But it's not. Bit of a misunderstanding there. Yes, I'll leave that up to your imagination, listeners, as to what's going on there.
Well, quite.
Yes. Anyway, Tobias thinks... Anyway, he's a funny man. Well, where do we go from here? I have some points and also some gags.
All right, cool.
What do you want to do first?
Well, I'm glad you've got some, because much as you said last time, which I believe was Third Rock, you got caught up watching the episode, didn't have time to write down some notes. And similarly, same deal here for me this time around, because you do have to concentrate on what's going on with Arrested Development, I've discovered, and you don't have time to write things down. And by the time you write down something, you've missed 20 other important things. So yes, I'd suggest that you do go first, and let's start with some points before gags, perhaps.
All right. A lot of the humour in this episode is in the way that the members of the family are working against their own self-interests, stupidly, and you pointed out Job as the classic example. He just wants the afternoon off. He's probably done half an hour of work or something like that.
Yeah.
It's not going well, so he decides that he's going to basically call a halt to the work on site.
Yeah.
So they're biting the hand that feeds them.
I don't think Joe, for example, in trying to get the housing dudes to strike and stop all the construction work, I don't think he realises that that could be the final nail in the coffin and the whole gravy train will stop.
Yes, that is ridiculous behaviour. And tied to this point, you've got Lucille's quip about Lupe's family being a bunch of freeloaders trying to get something for nothing. And then in the very next sentence, she turns to Michael and says, about my paycheck, which she's done nothing to earn.
Yep.
That was very good. In contrast with the rest of this lazy bunch, Michael is foregoing family time with his son on a Saturday to try and keep things afloat so everyone can get paid.
Yeah.
Yes, in the same way, George Michael is emulating his father on a smaller scale at the banana stand because he's trying to motivate everyone and replenish the nuts and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Yep. So I like the way that they parallel what's going on with the father and the son, just on a different scale. And then they do the same thing with Lindsay and Maybe.
Yeah. Telling their brothers/cousin to relax and chill out.
Yep, chill out. You don't need to be working so hard. Take the rest of the day off.
Oh.
So they've got the father and son doing the same thing.
The parallels.
The mother and daughter doing the same thing, so that's all pretty neat. By the way, Lindsay does actually help, because when Michael goes down to the beach, he comes up with the idea that's going to save their bacon.
True.
I like the nice way that Michael and George Michael have the idea to use their time out to spend time with each other.
Yeah.
So they both hop on their bikes trying to find the other one, and that whole mini plot thread is paid off when we get to see the file.
Oh, that's true. Yep, yep.
And the conversation they have at the end down on site. So that was a nice little touch.
Yeah.
Attention to detail. I want to talk about that for a minute.
Okay.
So these sheep flashbacks. We've got, every time we get a sheep reference, we get the photo, the hilarious photo of Buster in the photo booth with the sheep.
Yeah.
And a blah.
Yes.
Just flash it up onto the screen for a second. Just love the way they do that. We've got the soundtrack when George Sr. has his back up against the fence trying to negotiate with White Power Bill. It's like this Eastern mystical music.
Oh, is it?
As he's trying to find common ground with Bill.
Oh.
Yes, that's a very nice touch. Now, This is classic. There's like an aerial shot looking down on the banana stand, and the narrator is talking over what action is happening in the distance in the banana stand.
Right.
And Michael, I think, has arrived, and Anyong is saying, Anyong.
Yeah.
And the subtitle
says hello.
Hello. It's like,
Yeah.
that was just genius. You caught that.
Yeah. Oh. On that topic, I'm
Like
thinking...
you
it's
wouldn't
like-
even...
No.
The narrator's talking over the top of it.
Yeah.
But they took the time to add that in.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
that is attention to detail. But he can speak English perfectly well.
You think?
Anyong. Well, he does. He says to Maybe, and he says to George Michael, some stuff. I can't remember what his line was.
Yep.
But he's telling them about how what was it? He got trapped by something once. So that he was rounded up and put in a crate with something.
Yeah.
Anyway, so then why hasn't he... I didn't see him get involved in any other conversations or anything
No,
like that.
I think they'd assume the...
In other
assume the worst.
episodes, does he actually have a conversation with anyone?
Well, I think over time his role grows and develops.
Oh, good. Excellent.
Yes. Another nice touch is that when the office staff, are making their way down to the ferry, they go past these bells. I don't know if you saw these bells ring as they go past on the ferry.
Oh,
onto
really?
the ferry.
Oh.
That's really funny. All right. Now I've got some gags,
Okay.
and you've got one gag.
Which we've already talked about.
Oh, we've already talked about it. Oh
Yeah.
no, was that the hitting the head on the sign one, was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't even have that one, so I'm just going to reel through these.
Okay.
At the start of the episode, Tobias has left a note for Lindsay on the kitchen counter of the display home, which says, off to work, tea.
Yep.
And then in brackets he's put Tobias.
Yes. Like as
Because
if
she
he-
would be confused. She's going to be confused by the fact that he said he's going to work.
Oh, yes, right.
Either that, or
Yeah.
she doesn't know
Who he is.
who T would be.
Oh, my goodness.
Either way, it works.
Right.
Yep. During the conversation with Lucille and Michael, they mention Catalina in the context of Lupe's family reunion.
Mm-hmm.
And Buster had this unfortunate incident while in a photo booth in Catalina involving a sheep. And then you get these hilarious sheep photos and the sheep noises.
And
as
he
we've
doesn't
already said-
like enclosed
No,
spaces.
he doesn't like enclosed spaces.
And he's in there
not
with
too
his
fond
sheep.
of sheep either.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we return to that throughout the episode, including the, would you say, anxiety attack in the copy
in
room?
the copy room. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yes, Michael tells Lindsay, these people, his staff, are sheep.
Yeah.
And he says, you've lost the sheep.
As they all go
As
into the
ones-
elevator.
going into the lift. Michael says, for Lupe, a family reunion might be a pleasant experience.
Unlike his life, where every second he spends with his family is painful and horrible.
Exactly. Job says to Michael when he arrives on site, I rang the office and that kitty sounded pretty darn sexy. Not realising that it was actually his sister who answered the phone.
Yeah, and then Michael tells him and he just goes, He looks vaguely horrified for a second, but then they quickly move past it.
Yep. George Sr. anointing his new convert,
Yeah.
Little Justice, with his Jewish name. He says, is it Yamakar, the little...
Yeah, yep. He pops the Yamakar
"This
on him.
Yamakar will protect you, my son.
And then
Our Bill just comes up and cracks him on the head with his pipe.
it offered no protection at all.
Where's the protection? This is the first appearance of the chicken dance.
Mm.
And I find Job's chicken dances just hilarious.
Oh, yeah, that thing he was doing. And clapping and strutting.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, don't tell me they do that more than once.
Oh, it's a whole thing.
Oh, okay.
Buster, who is getting ready to throw down against Job in this deadly game of chicken that they're playing with bulldozers.
Yeah.
He says, my chair doesn't have a cushion.
Yeah.
Talk about anticlimactic. Any comment on those before I...
Ah, no. Well, I did have to cross out the my seat doesn't have a cushion gag, which we haven't done justice here, but that's just hilarious.
Yep.
When that one comes out, that was the first time I actually enjoyed something Buster said. So that was okay. They did have a little bit of physical comedy in there where he nail guns his sleeve of his jacket to the lumber, but he's about a story and a half up. And he goes, crash, hits the ground.
Yes, his arm slips out of the jacket.
Yeah,
sleeve and he hits the ground.
that was reasonably funny.
That's all happening in the background of this conversation between Michael and the foreman,
Yeah,
which distracts you a fair bit from the important plot points that are happening right in front of your
Oh,
nose.
that's right, because you're wondering what's going to happen to Buster. And the only other thing I've got written down is David Cross is awesome. So, yeah. I mean, he wasn't in this one an awful lot.
No,
No.
he was off doing his own thing.
But he is a scene-stealing so-and-so.
Yes, it was all gold. Well, all I've got now is my summary.
Okay.
Yep. Well, there's, as we've talked about, a lot going on here. There's a lot of characters, but they pull it off really well. Everyone gets their own chance to shine throughout the whole thing. So everyone's got something to do. There's different threads which form the main plot, and at the end of the episode, they all join up at this party which is fueled by Lucille's grocery shopping. So I like the way all that comes together in one big fat mess.
And there's been
in this party.
a nice wrap-up. You don't feel there's no hope at the end of the episode. You feel like here's a solution with the big pool problem. And then the family members now realise they're not going to get paychecks, or if they do, they're going to have to do some work.
Yep.
And the father-son thing all gets paid off as well, so that's really heartwarming. And it's all very nice.
Yeah, that was my last point, was they balanced it well, because you've got a lot of family nastiness. It's probably 80% family nastiness, but that's balanced by Michael and George Michael and their mini storyline that's going on.
Yep.
About finding time to hang out with each other despite all the madness that's going on. So,
yeah,
so that's why I like that one.
Well, there we go.
What do you think, Jeff?
Well, what I've thought, and I'll answer the main question in a minute, is I really enjoyed all of that, as you probably guessed. And the other thing I like, just a minor thing, is that it's not all stuck indoors on a few sets. It was going all over the place. It was going quickly. You don't get stuck and bogged down in one scene, and you get to go to the beach, and you're at the work site, and it's nice and sunny, and it's just, I like that whole spaciousness of the whole thing, but also the pace of it as well.
Yep.
That was really, really good, and clearly the actors are good. And now that you've pointed out some of the things that they're doing with the plot, this is the sort of stuff you like, is where they have 3 or 4 things going on and dovetail them all.
Yep.
And I couldn't see any flaws in what they were doing there as well. I mean, the sheer amount of planning and what you said about them having such a huge cast and having to give them all something to do. None of the things they were given to do, none of it was lazy.
Yep.
Yeah. They're my thoughts on the whole thing. I thought it was pretty good.
I felt that the SEC investigator thing was... I don't think they needed that in there. Yeah. They could have done without it.
Oh, it didn't do any harm, though.
Didn't do any harm.
No. And just one quick question before we wrap up and I pass judgment. Do you think this influenced the direction of sitcoms, as some do? I mean, I know The Office changed sitcoms. I mean, there'd been mockumentaries before that, but that one sort of really, a lot of sitcoms that followed took a leaf out of its book. Did a lot of sitcoms, do you think, take a leaf out of the Arrested Development book over the years?
I can't think of any examples.
It seems
I have to think on that one.
People did talk about it so much, and it was so popular. And I get the impression it's the sort of thing that there should be evidence that a lot of sitcoms that have come afterwards have taken a leaf out of its book. Oh, we'll answer that question another day.
Yeah, I'll be on the lookout for that now.
All right, cool. But yes, all in all, I thought that is Hall of Fame worthy. It's definitely a worthy sitcom. I'd watch more of it. This is reminding me of when you introduced me to The Good Place. Yep. And I just thought, I'm having some more of that, and then binge-watched the hell out of the whole lot.
Yeah, well, it's all going to be over soon.
Well, yes, The Good Place, yes.
Yes,
Oh,
Good Place.
Let's not talk about that.
Yes.
But I think this is a great opportunity for, if the listener is like me and has missed out on Arrested Development, it's the sort of thing where we can now go down to the second-hand store and probably find it for $2.
Yep.
Or find the whole season for less than a tenner and enjoy the whole lot. Or if you're on Netflix like a normal human being, unlike me.
Instead of spending 20 hours scouring the op shops
well,
for a $2 DVD, you could just get on
Look,
Netflix.
that's where I found my One Foot in the Grave DVD. And I got my Third Rock down there, and it was a bargain of $2.
Yeah.
A whole season of Third Rock. Oh.
Yep. And it can never get removed.
That's right.
Yes. All right, well, we better go because running out of time.
Yes, indeed.
But enjoyed that, and thanks for tuning in, listeners. And by all means, send us some feedback at some point.
Yep.
We'd like to hear from you.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll be back next month for Christmas episodes.
Yay!
Yes.
Oh, it'll be great.
Yes.
All right, and again, thank you for bringing that along, Steve. It's about time I watched Arrested Development, and yes, we will be back with Christmas next time.
Yep. See ya.
Bye. Join us next time on Sitcom Showdown, when we'll be putting another 5-star episode under the microscope. And in the meantime, you can contact us with feedback on Facebook, Twitter @Sitcom Showdown, or by email sitcomshowdown@gmail.com.